Okay. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to my Tuesday night Facebook Live, where we are tackling different topics about how we can support ourselves on our weight loss journey, on our weight maintenance journey, or just trying to be healthy. And for those of you that don't know me, I'm Jennifer Seven, and I'm the owner of Seven Company Weight Loss and Wellness Center. And tonight, I am super excited to have Cindy Battino here with me. Cindy is a life coach, energy worker, speaker, author, certified Vistage speaker, and host of Sterling Women. If you haven't heard of Sterling Women, you want to check it out. And she is a happiness expert. Uh, she is a coach and she studied with the Brennan Healing Center. She's a Brennan Healing Science practitioner, which is very cool. In 2011, she founded Transformational Healing right here in Middleburg, Virginia. And she teaches relationship and life skills. And she helps empower her clients with and gives them the tools to transform their lives from a lack of happiness and success in one area of their life to happiness and success in all areas of their lives. So I thought she would be such a perfect guest to talk to us tonight about how we can take care of ourselves during this difficult time. So welcome, Cindy. I'm so glad you're on
Thank
here with me
you.
tonight.
My bio
Yay!
makes me sound so smart.
You are smart. You are so smart.
It's so funny when you hear your bio, you're like, I don't know. It's just, I think it's funny when we hear our bios, and we're like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I did that. I am that.
I am that.
Well, Cindy, so let's dive in to talking about self-care and why is self-care so important, particularly now with this global pandemic going on?
Well, I don't know if you know, Jennifer, but right now, because of the spouse in the house, the kids in the house, the virtual learning, that more women are leaving the workforce than ever. It's huge. There's a very small proportion of men that are willingly leaving the workforce. The women are doing it to help their children virtual learn and take care of the house and the spouse and everything else. And typically as women, we've been taught that taking care of ourselves is selfish. We have to put our
Yeah,
kids first. We have to put our
right.
spouse first. We have to put our house first. We have to put our pets first. We have to put everybody else first. And we come last. Now, I think most people watching this would say, well, I know, but you know, I know it's not selfish to take care of myself. But the truth is, we're not really taking care of ourselves right
Yeah,
now.
so like mentally, you know that, but like emotionally.
Yes, emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, we're really not doing it. We're trying to. I mean, we're in overwhelm. We're frustrated. We're um, maybe scared, um, maybe stuck, and it's a really crazy time in our lives. Where we just are throwing all the balls up there, and unfortunately we're not one of the balls that we throw up to take care of, and we all know, put the mask on
Yeah, the
yourself
oxygen
first.
mask on
Yeah,
first, right?
but it's really hard to do when you've got kids that are struggling with virtual learning, when you are struggling to run a business. If you don't step out of the workforce, if you run a business, you're trying to run the business, and if there's financial issues because of everything that's happening with COVID, and companies and businesses that are slowing down or whatever. I mean, there's just it almost. I mean, I just talking about it, I get into overwhelm, and I can feel myself
Yeah.
like
I know. And
there's just
I
so much.
think because I have clients that they're doing that virtual learning and they're working from home, and I think about my own situation. My kids are grown now and out of the house, but I cannot even fathom having had my three kids when they were smaller, trying to get this all done. I think I would have lost my mind.
I would have, and my kids would have hated me. So I'm,
Yeah,
I'm,
yeah,
selfishly, I'm grateful, that I don't have my kids in the house. I try to be there to support other women who do have their kids in the house, and men,
yeah.
couples, families. But this is a, this is a kind of freak time where it really exacerbates, like if you've had issues with self-care, you're really going to see it now,
Hmm.
right? So that ability to, you know, meditate, right? To take time for you, to um, nourish yourself mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, you know, taking the time to work out. So I was in the fitness industry for over 20 years, right? So, and just on normal days, right? And in normal times, it's hard to make time to
Yeah,
exercise,
exactly. Right.
right?
We always do that last.
And then, you know, taking the time to, like, I know we're not supposed to talk about food, but all the prep work, right?
Well, and actually, I did want to talk about food because what we have to watch out for is turning to food to comfort ourselves. And when we're stressed and we're just got all this going on, it's so easy to turn to food to just like, okay, that's going to soothe me. But then what happens is the guilt and the frustration because why did I do that? Why did I eat that? So,
or you are so stressed about what's going on, you want to do the easiest thing, right? That's
mm,
very normal too.
right? Yeah.
Oh, what is that thing called? Like you put everything in a pot and it all comes together. You know, the processed food where you pour it all into. Anyway, I mean, yeah, I mean the easiest things that you can think of, right? Just gonna, you're
Which
gonna do
aren't
the,
always the healthiest, right?
which are
Yeah.
not the healthiest,
Yeah.
right? So it's, there are so many ways, even if we don't turn to food and sugar and cake and cookies and ice cream, then there are other ways that we use processed food just because. Hamburger helper, that's what it's called.
Oh,
Hamburger helper. That's what I was thinking of. Hamburger helper. I tried that once when my
yeah. Oh
kids were
boy.
little. Yeah, and I was just like,
Yeah.
um, so the those are our go-to places in normal times, let alone in times where everything feels like it's not falling apart but not going smoothly. You know,
Yeah.
teen and children's suicide rates is going up at in crazy
Yeah.
percentages because, and I mean, yeah, it's just, it's a
And the
lot.
depression, a lot of depression. So, so this being what it is and the time that we're being in, I mean, what advice would you give to you know, to anyone that's struggling with not taking care of themselves? Or first up, you know, how would they recognize it or and what are some, you know, easy tips or advice for people?
Well, you know, like, you know, when our business coaches talk about blocking time, you know, and so blocking time would be a really good thing to sit down with the calendar, right, at the beginning of week and of the week, and blocking time when our kids are in school, when they need us, when they don't, blocking time then for our business, and then blocking time for exercise with our children. I mean, if you have
Mm,
children right
hmm.
now, get them out. I don't care how cold it is. I don't care if it's snowing. I don't care if it's raining. You know, get them the heck out and go with them. You know, go on nature hikes. Go on. Oh my God, what are those things called? When you like you create this game about finding certain
Oh,
things.
like a scavenger hunt?
Yeah,
A
like a
scavenger hunt?
scavenger hunt, right?
Yeah.
So getting everybody out of the house is essential. And that in itself is self-care, and self-care for them too, so they're not just sitting in their rooms constantly, because that's what's happening, right? They're just sitting in their rooms for hours and hours and hours at a time. Get everybody the heck out of the house, get the dogs out of the house
Yeah.
with you, right? So that I think is super important.
Yeah, so like you're
um,
scheduling their PE for them, you're scheduling their recess for them, but you're going to be getting involved and doing it too, which is a
right.
really good thing to do for yourself.
So my husband is a fine artist, and during quarantine, and he's still doing it now. He's doing art classes online, and there you can take a bunch of art classes for free. What about doing art classes with your kids?
Yeah.
That's a great way to, again, get into that creativity. You're nurturing, right, emotionally, mentally, when you create and when you do art. Even if you suck at it, it doesn't matter, right? So blocking off times where you are going to do something that nourishes you and your children emotionally, mentally, spiritually, or physically. So, spiritually, blocking off time to, you know, watching, of doing a virtual church or
Hmm.
synagogue or whatever your religious preference is. But I know some people who they do Bible studies at night with their kids. I mean, I don't know. I'm more spiritual than I am religious, but there are lots of things that we can do to take care of ourselves and our children. I remember when. Do you remember when we had the sniper?
Oh, yes. Terrifying. Terrifying
Terrifying.
time.
And our children weren't even allowed to go outside
Right.
to do
And
recess.
I was scared to get out of my car and go into a store because you never knew where this sniper was because
Right?
the sniper
Or
was all
pump
over
your
the place.
gas. Remember?
Yeah.
So
Right. Right. Pump your
my
gas.
one of my kids' teachers did the most amazing thing, and instead of recess or gym, she taught them yoga.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Right? So, what if you do that with your kids? Right? Everybody is stressed out right now. Getting them outside and letting them run. Super, super good. Right? Teaching them or doing yoga online.
Right. And
Super,
you
super
can do
good.
it YouTube videos. There's tons of YouTube videos. Very, so you don't even have to, find a live class. You could just do YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Music.
Hmm.
Music is so healing, right?
Yeah.
So playing music like when you're eating or after you're eating and having some nice quiet time where everybody just sits and talks. I mean, now that we're all together in the house, what about having family dinners again? I mean,
Yeah.
I grew up on family dinners, didn't you?
Well, and since you are home, this is a time where we can cook, we can prep because we're home and we're not, I have so many clients that there's pre-COVID, outside of COVID, are running around, two parents working, and then you've got to pick up the kids and get them to this activity and that activity and this activity, and you're running through fast food or whatever you can pick up
Mm-hmm.
on the go
Yeah.
because everybody's so frantic, and that there's that. But now we're home, it's a different stress, but you could, and getting your kids engaged in the cooking, I think. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, get them
Yes.
chopping, teach them
Right.
some things. Maybe let the kids pick out some recipes. Um, that they want to try. So that might be a
Yeah.
fun homework
It might be.
assignment. Yep.
Yeah, but
Yep.
sitting down with the kids, what did you learn today? What did you like? What didn't you like? What you know, were you interested in the subjects? What bored you to death? How much did you really do? Right?
Hmm.
How
Uh-huh.
when did you skip to YouTube? And without punishment. But
Right.
now is a beautiful time to take advantage of family dinners and what we used to enjoy and engage with our children in family dinners. And I don't know about you, but when I am stressed, I cook. I love to cook. And I put on music and even when my kids were younger, we always had family dinner night, like at least 3 times a week. And I would turn music on and we would sing and we would dance and we would make dinner and then we would all sit down and we would have, different conversations. And of course, I had to make them talk, right? Of
Yeah.
course,
Yeah.
it wasn't like my children were, oh, no, no, and of course, especially as they got older and they became teenagers, it became more and more
Harder. Yeah.
difficult. Yeah.
Well, and I think one kind of fun, you could have some dinner topics. You could pick a
Mm-hmm.
topic every night, but you could just say every night we're going to go around the table and just say one good thing that happened today. Just one good
Yeah.
thing that happened today. Then you're actually teaching them that gratitude. Um,
Mm-hmm.
which is very powerful. They don't even know they're doing it, but they're starting to focus on the good rather than all the negative and the bad.
And I think that our electronics can cause more anxiety.
Mm, yeah.
So turning off the news at night, getting off our electronics. Electronics are not allowed at dinner, right? Playing like family game night, playing games and engaging with your family is can be really really fun. I mean,
Yeah.
it can be fun, and it gets them off and away from those screens because
Yeah.
the screens are screens the
Screen,
screens.
screens will make you scream.
Yes, they will. right? And that's, I think, part of the problem too, is that they have so much screen time now.
Yeah.
That, I mean, we didn't like, I used to limit screen time before, let alone, now it's mandatory,
Yeah.
right? So,
Well,
so
puzzles.
yeah.
Puzzles are good. Puzzles can be fun, set up a You're not a fan. Well, Cindy, how
I am
about
not spatial. I'm not spatially adept, so I can do like the border, and then I suck, so I can't.
yeah. So
But yes, puzzles.
yeah, I know. I love the end pieces, because then you're like, okay, we can get those first and then fill in. But okay, so we've talked a lot about what we can do with our kids, but what about the mom who's just like totally burnt out and she's doing all these things and how can she take care of herself maybe in some ways that don't involve, the kids, something for
Well,
her.
one of the reasons why I was bringing up yoga with the kids, getting walking with the children, is because she's getting it too,
Hmm. Yeah,
right?
just a
So
breath of fresh air, clearing your head to get outside.
yes, I love baths with sea salts,
Ah, bubble baths.
or yeah, or the sea salt baths, because
Uh-huh.
the sea salt baths,
Kind of,
especially dead sea salts,
yeah.
actually clear your energy field
Yep.
and help kind of
Yeah,
um,
like that detoxifying, right?
yes, the detoxifying.
Yeah, and
I
if you have
also
essential oils, you can put a little lavender in.
oh
It's very,
yeah.
very nice.
Yes, I usually get the dead sea salts that have the
Lavender in it.
have the lavender in it, or eucalyptus,
Yeah.
right? Um, so a couple of things that I do. A is I have a gratitude practice. It's super important. Um, it's very difficult when we're stressed and we have a lot of anxiety and we're in any kind of fear or stuckness, to be grateful. And I know, Jennifer, you and I are like peanut butter
Yeah.
and jelly around gratitude, right?
Yep.
So, and there's a science about gratitude. And even if we just think of something, we just try to think of something that we're grateful for, our body is flooded with happy hormones, right? And then if we can actually think and name the things that we're grateful for, that flooding continues of happy hormones. So it's really super good for us. So and you can write it down, you can type it into your phone, you can journal about it, you can just name it out loud, right? It doesn't matter. But having a gratitude practice is super important and so easy to do and put in your day. Um,
Yeah.
I journal, and
Hmm.
I typically have a weekly journal, that helps me think of things I want to journal about. I have it over there. I don't have the name of it, but I'll send you the name of the journal that I'm using this year. And I typically pick up people's journals, and because it helps
So
inspire.
like it gives you prompts and things. Is
Yes,
that,
that's it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
So I do that journal every week, and that helps me go like inside and think about me, think about my life, think about what I want, what I don't want, what
Well, and
self
I,
care I'm
I
doing,
just
not
want
doing.
to, one thing I want to remind people is that, when we're feeling stress and negative and we think it's so hard to think of something positive, I say just make it really simple. Like, well, I'm grateful that the sun is shining today, or I'm grateful it's raining today, or I'm grateful I have food on my plate. It doesn't have to be these, incredibly deep things if you aren't there. You just start with anything. Just start with anything. And if you do this, it'll build. It'll build on
It's true.
itself.
Yeah, it's really, really, it's very true. And what I tell people is that it's like the whole goal in like the happiness world, right? Is
And
that
and Cindy is our happiness expert.
and is that we're not making these huge leaps and changes in our lives to find happiness. That it's the simple things, the small things, like being curious, right? Like pausing before we speak, or pausing before we react, right? It's about, journaling our gratitude. It's simple things. And what the simple things do is if you've ever had a kaleidoscope, you just do this little tiny change, this tiny shift, and a whole new beautiful picture
Oh, I love
comes up.
that.
So it's not about happiness is not about, divorcing your spouse, moving to a different state, changing your jobs. It's about all the little steps and all the little things that you do that help you look at you and your life and your children and your spouse and your world just a little differently.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have to, like you said, have these huge, grandiose gratitudes, these huge miracles that happen in our life. Well, thank you, God, for that. I don't know, double rainbow, which never happens, right? Here, maybe in Hawaii, but it doesn't happen here. Um, but those things are all really good tools to help you, go in. Of course, meditation. If you can meditate, and
Yeah,
there's
yeah, what I love to say about that is a lot of people think, oh, meditation means I just have to sit here and be silent for 30 minutes, and who can do that? No one. So you again, I say go to YouTube. There's a million beautiful guided visualizations where you can just let the story be told to you, and you relax and you follow the story. And that would be a great activity to do with your kids. If everybody needs to chill out, yeah, find a nice little video, a YouTube meditation, guided visualization. There's tons of topics. It can be walking in the forest, it can be going to the beach. Y'all lay down or get in a comfortable spot, and a 15-minute, 20 minutes of listening to that will really just calm everybody down.
Yeah, that's true. I just, I wonder how many people that are listening are struggling with anger, rage, and frustration.
Mm, mm.
You know, um, so in the years that I was, managing gyms for Washington sports clubs and personal training and doing all that stuff, I taught boxing, kickboxing. Um,
Good way to get your anger out, right?
oh, and they have some really cool things now that you can buy that, track, how many hits and how hard you hit. And, there's nothing wrong with anger and frustration. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just what do we do with it?
Yeah.
Do we use it as a weapon against our children because we're just like so crazed, or do we use it as a weapon against our spouse, or do we have one of these cool techie bags now that we can hit and have somebody tell us, what to do and how to do it, and it's a great way to exercise and release a lot of anxiety, frustration, anger,
Yeah.
that is building up inside of us. Because, I don't know about you, but if I have a lot of anger in me, going and taking a bath is like meh, like meh.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I live on the side of a mountain,
Hmm.
and I can tell you there's nothing more healing for me if I'm angry in going out and splitting wood.
I was just gonna say, go out there and chop some wood.
Go out there and chop some wood. No, it's really, yeah. And then having to haul the wood up the side of the mountain, and
Yeah.
getting all of that out. So there are so many ways that we can take care of ourselves right now. But the
Well,
important thing is
pillows. You can punch a pillow if you don't have the bag. That's kind of the old school. Yell at that pillow and hit that pillow. You could have your kids could do that.
yeah, I've even like gotten in my car and like pounded on my steering wheel, and just and
Yeah,
that's
just
all
you
that's all
gotta
really good
getting
for
it
you.
out, right?
Yes,
It's getting it
yes.
out of your body.
Yes. And that's why running is really good too, because you have that impact every single time. Now, running
Mhm.
isn't good for everyone. But I mean, if you can run and you like to run, that's a really good way to release tension and frustration and everything that comes with it. So,
Yeah.
the important thing is that you decide that you deserve to take care of yourself and that you are important too, and that you go back to here and say, you know what, if I don't take care of me, then how can I take care of anybody else? um, and then figure out what you like, what you want to do to help you take better care of yourself, whether it's taking moments to sit and read and be quiet,
Read a
right? Whether
book.
it's
How awesome is that? That could be your quiet activity for
mm-hmm.
and you can have the kids. This is library time. We're all going to read for a half an hour, and because
when
I love to read, but who has time to read? It's hard.
yes, no,
But
it
you
is really
schedule
hard.
it, right?
But yeah, so I love the blocking.
I
right?
love
So
like coming back to that. Yep.
coming back to the blocking, so blocking out, when your kids are going to be in school and they don't need you, and then what are you going to do with that time? And of course there's, we haven't talked about, there's so much else. There's, the the cooking and the cleaning and the laundry and everything that comes of it. And so, I'm sure a lot of people who did like me. So I used to have somebody come clean my house every 2 weeks. That doesn't happen anymore. Sometimes cleaning is really good and cathartic for people too,
Mm. Hmm.
right? So I know that if and I'm cleaning in, and then I'm just afterwards, I'm like, oh, look how pretty.
Yeah,
So
you
I
feel
feel so much
better.
better.
Sometimes you just feel better. Like making your bed in the morning, there's the people that always make their beds and then there's
Mhm.
those that don't. But somehow
Yeah.
that just, kind of sets the stage for a better day if you make your bed. So speaking of morning routines, I think if that's another, if you could block that 15 minutes in the morning before you dive into the chaos, that's your time. And that could be your journaling time, your meditation time, your just sit with a cup of coffee and just, stare out the window time, read your book for 15 minutes, but give yourself that gift. It's going to center you, ground you, kind of, it's going to set your day, your tone for your day, other than you're just jumping into the chaos otherwise,
Yeah.
to get the
And
kids
so,
fed and school and work.
yeah, so I talk about pausing, right? So when you block out time, you're actually pausing your life to figure out how you're going to create a week that is healthy for you, right? And is it all going to go
Mm-hmm.
perfectly? Absolutely not. And it could be so. Jennifer, there are a lot of people going to divorce court right now, and I don't know how many people that are listening are going through a time where their spouse is in the house and you can't get rid of them, and clarity.
Get away from them.
You can. And there clarity has come, maybe, that you have a complacent marriage, right? And the things that you do really well and the things that you don't do really, really well. And one of the things that you can do that does not involve food, that is a lot of self-care, is learning new skills. Learning new ways to communicate, learning new ways to do conflict, learning new ways to parent, learning new ways to uh, love yourself, love yourself, build your self-confidence. Skill building is huge, and it will shift the whole environment of your home. It'll shift how you look at you. It will shift how you look at your spouse. That we don't have to go to divorce court. It is absolutely normal for marriages and long-term relationships to go into a stage of complacency. You're not bad
Sure.
if you are
Right.
complacent. And the answer doesn't have to be divorce. It
Hmm.
can be we just need to learn new skills. And you take those skills that you learn about communication, about conflict, about boundaries, about how to use your words with your heart, and you can take them to all areas of your life to find a different result, even during COVID, even during a life crisis, even during what I call one of life's speed bumps from hell. When you take the time to nourish yourself mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, right? And that can mean that you learn new skills to bring to your life so that
Hmm.
you can have a more successful communication, more successful conflict, more successful love, more successful parenting. And then after this crisis is over, now there's even more to celebrate.
Well,
So
so Cindy, so having said all of that, if there's someone out there that's ready to work on this or learn new skills, I mean, you are the expert. Tell us how you would help someone or how they could get help from someone like you.
So if you realize that you guys you don't communicate well, or you don't do conflict well, or you're using your anger and rage as a weapon, right? Then you're not bad. You're not horrible. No judgment. I mean, we're human beings, which means we're perfectly imperfect, and we're just taking the skills that we were taught and we're bringing them forward. But sometimes they work for us and sometimes they don't. So I have a number of different programs to help people, and my programs start at $49 a month. So
Yeah.
I'm trying,
That's
really,
fun.
really trying to help as many people as I can for the least cost to them. It's a group program. It's based on an online program that I've been using with my one-on-one clients for more than 3 years. It's proven it's successful. It's convenient. It's consistent. It has all the yummy stuff to it. And then I have one-on-one coaching and even more. So it's yeah, so it's
Yeah,
cool.
and
It's fun.
Cindy's awesome. I mean, she's awesome. Um,
Thank you.
so how would they get in touch with you, or you want to
So my
share your
web
website? Yeah.
My website's www.transform-heal.com. You can also email me at Cindy, C-I-N-D-Y, at transform-heal.com. Tell me that you heard me on this, on what are, this isn't a
We
podcast, it's
call it a
a
Facebook Live, I guess.
Facebook Live
Yeah.
with Jennifer Seven, and we'll set up a time to talk and have a welcoming session and see how I can help you. And I'm even doing couples intensives, which are so cool. They're so cool. My February is full with couples intensives.
Awesome. Yay.
Yeah, so it's really
Awesome.
nice.
And I'll put this in the comments as well, how to get in touch with Cindy. So if you're needing to work on this and want some skills, she is so the perfect person. So I hope this has helped everyone, that we've talked about self-care, why it's important. We've given you some ideas and tips of things that you could do that aren't hard. Just blocking it out, making the time, brainstorm the ideas that you think will work for you.
And
And
your
we
family.
take care of you and your family. Nourish yourself with ways that aren't necessarily food, um, because we want to keep you on track with
Yes.
whatever your health and weight loss goals are. So
Really, and one thing I love about you, Jennifer, and the work that you do is the food that you put in your body is so essential to your emotions, to how you function mentally, to how much sleep that you get, right? Which is so
absolutely, yeah,
important, right? And it's taking care of our body so well. And when we know that we're putting good, clean food into our body, it makes us feel good about ourselves.
yeah,
And one of the things I loved about cooking for my kids and having those family dinners was I knew what my kids were getting, and I knew it was really good food for them, and I knew it nourished their bodies, and I knew it tasted really good.
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Cindy.
Thank you,
I'm
Jennifer.
so happy you were on with us. And again, anybody that wants to reach out to her, we'll post the information, and have a wonderful night, everybody. Right, bye.
Take care. Thank